All right, so something happened today that makes me happy, it makes me upset, makes me shocked and angry, and a lot of things swirl through my mind. I know I haven't made a video since last year, and um, but this is a serious video. So, and if I pause throughout this video like every 10 seconds, that's because, I'm in my room. I don't want anyone to come down the stairs because I don't like making the video when someone's in the other room. I don't know why. I don't know. Anyway, it's not the point. So, I got fired from my job today. So, let me explain to you. So, before I get into it, I just want to let you know if there's foul language in this. I'm just warning you, there could be foul language because there was a lot of foul language throughout this firing. There was a lot of it, and a lot of yelling too. So just putting that out there as a warning. So I'm gonna try keeping this video as short as possible, but at the same time, it's gonna be a little long, a little bit, because it's kind of a long story. So I thought I'd explain to you guys how I feel about this. So last February, of last year, 2019, I got hired. Which, by the way, this is my fourth attempt making this video. Because of that reason, I don't want anyone interrupting. But anyway, back to the story. So I've been working at my millworking company since February of last year, 2019. I even made a Cake Wars video now and video in there. Or let me restart. I'm all over the place today. I'm so sorry. So let me restart. So I made a Cake Wars video that day, and during that video, I got a phone call saying I got hired for the job. Yeah, da da da. Everyone knows. Anyway, yeah, it's a millworking shop. You put cabinets together. You make a whole bunch of stuff. Wood related stuff. It's in a shop. And when I got hired there, I started off as a cleaner. So I was cleaning February 11th to be exact. I started there. I was cleaning. And about a month ago is when they told me. They said, "Listen, for a week, only for a week, you're going to be put in the finish room, the paint shop, where they paint and they sand pieces and they stain and, they do that kind of stuff." And I was like, well, okay, because they're trying to give me an opportunity, to put me up the ladder because the sweeping job was just to get my foot in the door. And I said, well, okay. So I said, okay, I was fine with it. So he's like, all right, starting Monday, you'll do it. I was like, all right, that's fine. Yeah. Anyway, back to the situation. Um, for the first week, it was I was kind of angry at it because they were kind of busting my balls a little bit. And that's how bosses are, and I try to accept that. And there were a lot of angry moments throughout this past month. Um, a lot of it, and today it just came out of me. I just exploded. So here's what I was doing. So last Thursday, I believe, he gave me a whole pallet of crap to sand, okay? And it's a lot. Like, I have to get into the grooves of these things. They're long pieces. I have like two other pallets like that were taller than that still coming my way, and I had like 3 months to do them, and it may seem like a long time, but 3 months of sanding, you're gonna I'll be sitting there for like 9 to 10 hours sanding all day long. I'll take a break, my usual break and lunch break, and go back to sanding. Like, that's literally like 8, 9, 10 hours of sanding that I'd be doing. And yeah, so that's pretty tedious. It's boring. And I've told him that numerous times. I said, listen, him being the supervisor, I said, listen, if you can just give me some other things throughout the day, so I can take a little break every now and then from the sanding, so I don't have to be sanding for 8 hours straight. And he declined it. He said, no, I want you to sand all day, sand all day. I'm like, dude, really? Started getting mad. After a few days went by, and today is where it really, really made me mad. So I went to the bathroom. I had a little stomach ache. I had spicy chips last night from watching Monday Night Raw. You know how I am. I watch Monday Night Raw. I eat my snacks, and I had spicy chips, and my stomach was already going on the roller coaster. So I was like, all right. I didn't realize I was in the bathroom for about a half hour. So when I was drying my hands off after washing them, and I seen the supervisor walk in. He's like, "Oh, where have you been? I've been looking all over for you." I thought he was going to use the bathroom. So, and when I left, when I had left the bathroom, he was just following me back to the work area. And I was like, and I thought to myself, I'm like, wait a minute, this guy just came to the bathroom to come and get me. Like, I was just in the bathroom, that's all. Like, and he was like, "Oh, you've been in it for like a half hour." I was like, "Oh, I didn't really realize that, to be honest with you." And I said, and I told him, I'm like, "Listen, I didn't really feel like." Well, he's like, "Oh, then go home." I'm like, "Well, anyway, I know you already caught me. Okay, I don't have judgment. I don't have a point after that. Okay, anyway." Um, to be fair, it was actually on my phone, but I didn't realize a half hour went by, so that was on me. Um, and then that's when I snapped too, because I went back to sanding. And he now bear in mind, he was already getting pissed off at the fact that he got tired of telling me, "Oh, where have you been?" Because for the past month, he every time I go to the bathroom or come back to my work area from break or from lunch, he's always like, "Oh, where have you been? Where have you been?" And today he was starting to get pissed off about it. Today he was just like, "Okay, listen, dude, I'm getting mad about this. Like, you got to stop doing this because I get the one that gets yelled at." I'm like, "Dude, like I can't do anything now." And he's like, "Listen, I want you to ask me or tell me everywhere you go." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" He goes, "No." I'm like, "I want you to tell me everywhere you go. If you have to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. I'll let you go. You know, you have to tell me these things." I was like, "Well, okay." That's kind of dumb, quite frankly. But I was like, "All right." Now we're pretty good friends, I'd say. But you have to be careful when you're talking to a supervisor, because if I say something bad, and which I did, kind of a mistake, but at the same time wasn't. He'll tell the manager. He'll tell the management, which he did. And I told him, I was like, "Listen, I'm tired of sanding. I'm not learning anything from this. I've literally been here for like a month in this paint shop, and I have not learned anything." And I was like, "Yeah, you can go ahead and tell that guy, that guy being the manager. I'm not gonna, expose his name. Um, I'm not trying to get into any legal trouble if he were to watch this video for some reason." Yeah, so I was like, "Listen, you can go ahead and tell so and so that. Go right ahead. I don't care." And he's like, "Well, okay." He went straight over to the phone. I went back to standing. He went straight over to the phone. He's like, "Oh yeah, so and so. Da da da." He started talking. Then he went up to the union guy. Now, my job was my job. I'm just gonna say my job for the video. My job is a union job, and there's a union. The the union or steward, the shop steward. Or so basically, the shop steward is basically a guy that, like, if you have a question about the union, or if you have to pay for the union dues or whatever, basically you have to pay $20 a month for the union, which it's worth it. Trust me, the benefits there are awesome. Um, that's the only good thing about that company. But anyway, but yeah, I was so he went up to the shop union guy, whatever, and he was telling, he was, I guess, talking to, where am I? I think I lost track. I'm sorry. So he went. Let me go back a little bit. Let me backtrack. So the supervisor went on the phone. He called over the manager. He came down. He explained everything, and then they, all three of them, or all two of them, sorry, they both went to the shop union guy. Now, bear in mind, before all this happened, the union guy decided to jump in the conversation and listen to what we were saying, because and it's his job. It's not, it's not. I can't say it's not, because he's supposed to listen to, if I have a problem about something, I have to go and tell him that. And so he joined into the conversation, and I started yelling and swearing. I was like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "I've been standing for freaking for like a solid week, and it may not seem like a lot, but it is. But I fucking all day, all fucking day, I've been over here, like this and that, swearing my ass off." And he's like, "Whoa, no need for all the language." I'm like, "Listen, I'm tired. Listen, that's not the point. I'm tired of this. Like, I'm sick and tired. I want to learn. I want to, like, put me in the spray booth. Let me spray or something, let me stain. Let me do something different throughout the day." And he's like, "Oh, well, there's not much work right now in this department." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Look at all this work that's over here." And then this is me showing him, you can't see me doing it, but I was like, "Look at all this work that's around here to do. I can take everything that's dry off the rack and put it on the pallets. I can take these pieces and maybe sand these pieces. I'd rather sand these than sand these freaking sons of bitches, because they had little grooves in them, and it just took forever and so much sandpaper, because the sandpaper goes out so quickly. Literally, I went through like 8 to 9 like little sandpapers like per piece, and it was crazy. I had like hundreds of pieces to do. So literally, and I went through like what 3 rolls throughout that week, and a roll has about 100 pieces of sandpaper. So I went through about 300 like pieces of sandpaper and more to come. Was to come. And I say was because I got fired. So I know I'm all over the place right now. I'm sorry. I was really nervous. I was really like, I was screaming. I was scared. I was like, oh my God, what do I do? So anyway, back to the situation. So after I had gone on that rant, I went back to sanding. I was like, all right, yeah, go ahead and tell so and so, yeah, go ahead and tell. And so he went on the phone, talked to him. He came down. All 3 of them talked to about the situation. The manager went back to his office, I think. And then he comes back out, and this was the part that I was nervous about. And he comes up to me. He talks to the union guy, and he comes up to me and he goes, "Listen, Kevin, take your time card with you because we have to punch in every day, you know." And he's like, "All right, come with me. Come take your time card." And that's when I thought, I was like, "Okay, it's gonna happen now." But when it did, it's one of those things where like I'm not surprised that it happened, but my heart dropped when it did. You know what I mean? So like I have the balls to speak up. But at the same time, my heart will drop after I say it. I'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, I'm that kind of person. Like, I'll be like, all right, I got the balls to say this. I got the balls to say that. And then I say it, and then my heart just drops. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. You know? So I was following him, and we went up to the clock, and the time clock, and he goes, listen, I can't believe I just said time clock. We went up to the clock, and he goes, listen, you're being terminated. Reason being is because you were yelling and swearing at your shop steward and the foreman. It is not acceptable here. I said, all right, whatever. I was just like, like what, giving him that, like look, whatever. And he's like, well, so go ahead and punch out. I punched out, and he's like, you're gonna get paid 4 hours for today. To be exact, I left at around 10 o'clock ish, and I start my shift normally at 6. So that fairly was about 4 hours. So I'll give it that. My check will be mailed to me, of course. And yeah, so I'm gonna get those 2 checks. Of course, the check from last week and the check for this week, of course. Hopefully, I better, or else I'm going back there and getting my damn check. So yeah, and what happened next was, before I get to that, what happened next was he's like, all right, we're gonna escort you out. And I ended up going a different direction. He goes, oh, where are you going? It's this way. He's like, oh, I'm gonna get in my stuff. And he's like, all right, I'll follow you. So they both followed me the whole way. They followed me to get my bag. I looked at my cousin. I was like, dude, I'm going home. Woohoo! I was all happy. So, just being ballsy. At the same time, my heart was just beating so fast. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this right now. Why am I doing this? I can't believe I'm doing it. So I grabbed my bag. I went to the cafeteria, grabbed my lunch bag. I walked out. Well, before I walked out, we had a little conversation. I'm like, listen, I apologize for talking like this, like being all this language and shit, but like, like it's ridiculous, like how, I've been sanding all this time, and it's like, I want to learn, but you're not willing to give it to me. And he's like, listen, we gave you multiple opportunities, but you have to start at the bottom, make your way up to do that. And we were going to, but decided to do this, and so basically, which led to your contract termination. And then the shop steward was like, oh yeah, and he was pretty much agreeing with him, the guy that's supposed to be helping me, agreeing with him. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he can't agree with what the manager was saying, and I'm just saying, like, he's supposed to be not on my side, but like, he's supposed to be helping me, And I'm sorry that I've been rambling on for 13 minutes straight, but so I left. He stayed outside, made sure that I left the area completely, and I opened the window, stuck my middle finger out, and I was like, "Fuck you! And I'm never coming back." And I just kept going, just drove. And I pulled over. The first thing I did was texted my friend, and I'm like, "Dude, I just got fired." I'm like, "Oh my God, you need to call me as soon as possible." He's at work right now, so after work, he's going to call me. Hopefully I can get an application for his job. I already applied for a job near my area. For those of you who don't know, this job that I had worked at, um, not only was my first job, but you know, it was far. I had to drive about a half hour to get there. It was in a different state. I live in Massachusetts. It was in Rhode Island. I had to drive about a good 23 to 26 miles to get there. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but that's about a half hour's worth of driving every day to and from work. Now for the record, I was already going, so remember when I said before I get to that part, when I was talking about getting my bag and whatnot. So yeah, let me explain that part of the story. Um, so for weeks and for months, I have already, well, since I started in that paint job, okay, he has been up my ass about doing overtime. Now, let me just reiterate the hours. So the shift always starts at 6 from 99% of the employees. I'm not going to include like the guys that work at shipping because they have to, they have to be at work sometimes earlier than that because, they have to be like in Connecticut or New York or whatever to deliver stuff. So that's exceptional. But I'm talking about like, an average normal worker. So the shift starts at 6 o'clock in the morning. It ends at 2, so the bell rings at 2:15 p.m. and we can punch out at 2:20 to go home. That's 8 hours. If we decide to do overtime, we can either stay 1 hour, which is 3:30 till 3:30, or 2 hours, which is until 4:30. He was up my ass about doing 4:30. Now, for the record, I usually like to do 1 hour every day except Friday. Friday's a freebie, 8 hours, go home on a Friday. Hardly anyone stays overtime on Fridays. So, and the paint shop didn't either. So basically, the manager wanted me to stay with the group being the paint shop, people that work in the paint shop, because that was my group. And if they stayed overtime, he wanted me to stay overtime with them. But that's a load of crap because he kept telling me, oh, in the handbook, it says that you have to do overtime. It's required. Coming in on Saturdays for full days is required. Da 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 da. I was like, dude, and I told him this. I was like, listen, and I was telling him calmly. I'm like, listen, it's not a requirement. He's like, is that? And this was the last time he asked me. I was like, listen, it's not a requirement. Da, da, da. And I told him that numerous times. The last time he told me that, I was like, listen, it's not a requirement. And he's like, is that what you think? And I said, well, yeah, basically. And it's just not in the book. And he goes, well, okay. And he walked away and he stormed off all mad. He went off to the shop. He talked to the shop steward. I'm pretty sure it was about this situation, and he just walked off. So that's probably not the reason why I got fired. It was probably because I was being disrespectful to the shop steward and the foreman, and I can accept that. That I guess you could say that was my fault. But at the same time, I snapped because like I was doing a job that was like, it was sickening to me. Like I hated it. Like I really I was miserable. And I had told the foreman the supervisor, like a million times. Like, dude, like I'm miserable doing this. And he's like, listen, it's not my choice. It was what the manager wanted. And I'm trying really hard not to say his name, or to say anyone's names. And if I did during this video, then oh my God, I'm screwed. So even though they're probably not going to watch this video. So, but yeah, where was I? So yeah, so let me go back to the overtime. I already forgot what I was saying. So let me go back to the overtime situation here. So he wants me to do more 4:30s, and it was ridiculous because usually I do 1 hour overtime from Monday till Thursday. I work until from 6 o'clock in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon. That's that's the normal 8 hours and the 1 hour overtime shift. That's 9 hours. So I would do that Monday through Thursday, and Friday I'll leave after 8 hours, normal shift. He had a problem with that because he wanted me to stay 4:30 with the group. The group, of course, like I said, being everyone in the paint shop. Like if everyone stays, then I stay. Which, like I said before, it doesn't mean shit because if it's not in the handbook, and I even looked in the handbook, if I looked in the handbook and it doesn't say it's a requirement, then don't you think that it's not a requirement? The closest I got to that was I guess I'm not sure if I'm stating this correctly, but to kind of reiterate from it, uh certain areas may require more time. I guess that's as close as, I mean, I don't know. I read it wrong, and maybe I'm just misunderstanding the way it was interpreted, but the way it was explaining it or saying it in the handbook. But I know I know there was no line where it said overtime and Saturdays are a requirement. I did not see that sentence anywhere in that book at all. When I looked in the overtime in the required time sections or the hours or whatever. I know I'm going on 20 minutes now with this video. I promise you it's almost over. So yeah, so a few weeks ago I said, okay, you know what? You want me to do 4:30s? You got it. So here's my new schedule now. Mondays I would work until 4:30. Tuesdays I work until 3:30, which is what I would have done today if I had been at work right now. Um, Wednesdays I would do 4:30. Thursdays I would do 3:30, and Fridays I'll leave after 8 hours. And after doing that, he didn't really bother me too much about it. And then he started coming up my ass about Saturdays. So here we go. Here we go. Something I forgot to tell him was, oh yeah, Saturdays overtime, not a requirement, buddy. That's something I forgot to tell him, and I should have told him. But I kind of exposed the company a little bit because you had a foreman. Now, foreman is another name for a supervisor. If you don't know that, obviously, I'm going to assume that you know that. So, he's a foreman, and he works at a panel saw. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you're getting paid to be a boss, and you're working at a saw. Like, can't you like get rid of that guy and make him do his supervisor duties and replace him with someone that's more deserving, like a young guy like me? Even though I wouldn't want to do it, but if I was given the opportunity, I probably would. And then you got another guy who sits on a forklift all day. Now that's a big problem right there. Like that's huge. Like I think if I'm not mistaken, I think he's actually supposed to be at that saw. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know he's not supposed to be on a forklift all day long. That's what I know. And of course, there's other problems with the company that I can't state right now because this is as far as I know. I don't remember any other problems with it, but yeah, back to the overtime in Saturday's situation. So I was basically in a position where I was forced to do it. And he can't do that. And I talked to my cousin. I said, listen, he's forcing me to do overtime on Saturdays. He's like, there's a guy at the dowel machine. A dowel machine, I'm not going to explain what a dowel machine is. Just look it up, all right? We have Google, people, come on. So he works at a dowel machine. I guess he knows the owner of the building. Yeah. So he's like, all right, let me talk to him. So he talked to him. He talked to the owner. And I guess the owner told him, he goes, oh, well, his time is coming, is basically what they were saying, is that, oh, his time is coming. I've never met the owner of the building, for the record. So he must have told the guy at the dowel machine. The guy at the dowel machine must have told my cousin. My cousin told me. I don't know. Anyway, so I know I'm rambling on so much. I apologize. But if you're still here, I thank you so much for listening. And if you do have any input to give me, let me know. But anyway, so he goes, his time is basically coming because he's gonna keep losing guys. And before all this happened, I had when the manager, and again here I am trying so hard not to mention his name, had kept coming up to me. I was like, listen, I started getting mad at the union guy that works at the shop. I'm like, listen, he's forcing me to do overtime, da da da. And he's like, oh, you have to take initiative, da da da. I'm like, listen, if this continues, I'm quitting. And I walked off. I stormed off. I went back to work. About 10 minutes later, he shows up. He goes, oh, here's the phone number to the union representative guy at the union hall. He wants to talk to you about the situation. Give him a call. So I called him. This was way before. This was like a month ago, pretty much, like when it all started, And I called him. I was like, listen, this guy's freaking, forcing me to do overtime, da da da, this and that. And he's like, listen, the best thing that you can do is do the best you can, because overtime is not a requirement, and this is an ongoing problem that we have, and we have told him multiple times that it is not a requirement, and that he has to stop doing it. but he basically said that he can't wave the magic wand that, it'll go away forever, like and he said that he would try talking to him, because he can't do this. He can get into trouble for this, you know what I mean? And I'm not the only one that got fired for reasons like this, I'm sure. There are a few guys that have left, that have came and gone since working there at this place. So I lasted about a good year, about 13 months there. So I can't say I'm proud of it, but I can't say I'm happy either. It's so let me get to the goods and the bads and the relieving parts. So the good thing about this is that I don't have to drive half hour every day. I don't have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. Well, my alarm clock would go off at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'd get up at 4:45. Okay, that's just how I am. Like literally, the alarm can go off, and it'll take me like a good hour to get out of bed. Trust me, I'll be dazed. I can't get up immediately. I'm not a morning guy. Trust me, or an early bird, or whatever they call it. So, oh yeah. By the way, that's my chair. Sorry. Anyway, that was the handle. Anyway, let me. I'm already going on half an hour. Oh my god. So let me try ending this story here. So the good things about it, I don't have to drive half an hour every day to and from. That's not added. So that's about like a good 55 minutes worth of driving in total. I don't have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning anymore. Let's see. I can work closer to home now, and I can probably do something that I actually am interested in doing, that I'm interested in learning in, such as, housing, like flooring or installation or something like that. That's something I'm willing to do, that I'm interested in learning. And if I can find a school to teach me that, like how to do flooring and whatnot, I'm actually pretty willing to do that. But yeah, and I get to stay in the state. That's another good thing. And it may seem like an easy thing, but it really isn't. So basically, the insurance I had in my other company, I had the health insurance and the dental insurance from there. The problem with this one is that my dental insurance, as far as my dental goes, I had Blue Cross. So, and that's Rhode Island. That's a Rhode Island, insurance for dental. So Aspen Dental, awesome dentist, they take Blue Cross insurance. However, I work in Rhode Island. That's a card from Rhode Island. So I would have to go to Aspen Dental in Rhode Island instead of Massachusetts. I'd have to go to one in Rhode Island for them to accept that insurance. That was another problem with that. So that's a good thing. I guess you can take that away. I'm not under their health insurance anymore, or dental, because they said they completely got rid of that. My cousin told me to file for an unemployment thing, which means that I can get paid for staying here for a certain amount of time, even though he told me I couldn't. But I'm going to give it a try anyway. For the state of Rhode Island, unemployment for the state of Rhode Island. The bad things about this: one, I lost my job. I don't have a job now. It's going to be an absolute bitch to find another one. Number two, I lost all the benefits there. The benefits there was the only good thing about that company. Like, and it's funny because he told me, he's like, "Oh, the company's running strong," and I was like, "Yeah, your company's gonna go to shit anyway." And I literally told him this right to his face, right in front of the shop steward and everything. I was like, "Listen, this company's gonna go to shit," and he's like, "Well, I doubt it because it's been going on strong." And I said, "Yeah, well, good luck when it goes to shit," and I left. So anyway, bad things. I lost my job. I don't have the insurances there anymore. I don't have the benefits there anymore, which was really good. They had awesome benefits. They had a pension and annuity, which means that I would get paid. I get money that gets put away into an account, and I cannot touch it until I retire. Which I could have retired like at 55. If I had kept working at this company, I could have retired like 55, wealthy. Like I could have actually had good money. That's another downfall, a huge downfall. A relieving thing about it was I opened up myself. Like I literally exploded on this guy. Like I got to open up and I'm like, listen, I can't take any more this and that. That was the relieving part. I don't think I have anything else to say, to be honest. I really, really apologize in advance for this video going on a half an hour, me just rambling on. I apologize if you're still if you're at this very moment right now, I thank you so much for watching or for listening. Technically, you're not seeing anything. My phone's just on the table here. I really do apologize for keeping this video going so long. I'm not sure when I'm going to upload another video. Now that I'm unemployed, I'm going to be focused on getting another job. And it's going to be really tough seeing as we have this coronavirus out there now and a lot of jobs are closed. And if you do have the coronavirus and you're watching this video, I really do hope you feel better. The coronavirus, I'm not really like, even though I should be concerned, I'm not really concerned. I'm still living my life normally, um, as if nothing happened. But at the same time, I'm trying to respect the 6 foot distance rule that's going on here. Like you have to stay 6 feet within someone. I'm trying to respect that as well. So, it's not, to me, it's like, I don't know what's all the hubbubaloo or whatever the hell whatever that word is. You get the point of this whole coronavirus. Like there's people that have the coronavirus that say, listen, it's not even a big deal. Like just stay calm. No need to panic. Just stay safe. You know what I mean? But anyway, listen, I promise you I'm ending this video right now. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any feedback to give to me or any opinions, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to respond to any and all comments that you guys have. What do you think about this? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me on this decision? Do you think it was a bad idea? Do you think it was a good? I think it was a bad idea because I lost all those benefits. I think it was a good thing because I don't have to deal with this guy anymore. And I told him to fuck off. So, and I told him to take it deep too. I told him right in front of his face, I'm like, you know what? Take it deep, pal. And I gave him a thumbs up and I left. So, anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoy. Like I said, give me the feedback, comment below what you thought, what you think about this story. I apologize in advance for this video being really long, and this should be uploaded in about an hour probably. So yeah, peace out.